Hi, welcome to the PassioKnit Spinner Podcast. My name is Tracy. You can find me as Schnüffeltier on Ravelry and Instagram. And this is not a normal podcast episode. It's my Tour de Fleece recap. And I did spin a bit. I finished 7 skeins of yarn. I'm going to talk about all of them. So let's start. I first finished this skein of yarn. I spun all the singles for this. This is a merino. Is it merino? It is. It's merino fiber. The top was dyed by 4 Rivers Yarn and Fiber. This is the label that was on my fiber. And this is the skein of yarn that I ended up with. It's a traditional 3-ply. I spun all the singles on the Louet S45. And I had 2 bobbins already done before the tour started, and I just had to spin the 3rd single and ply everything. I ended up with 129 meters. That's 141 yards, and it's 95 grams. Because I have some leftovers on 2 of my bobbins. And yeah, like I said, I don't do Andean bracelets, so I have leftover stuff, and that's fine. Well, here it is. I think it turned out quite nice. I love traditional 3-ply yarn. I just rarely do it because you have to spin finer to get a decent amount of yardage. And I don't like spinning super fine stuff, which, you know, is weird considering what I have on my table here. But yeah, so that's the first skein of yarn that I finished. I have to label all of these, and then they can go either in my thing. What's it called? It's not a cupboard. It's a sideboard, I think. Yeah, I have this thing behind the camera with a lot of drawers, and it holds my handspun yarn. So I have to decide which of my finished skeins will go in there, which ones will go up in the shop, and I kind of want to send one to a friend, but I'm not sure if she would like it, so yeah. So very interesting, right? First finished skein of yarn. Merino, which I do not love to spin, I have to say. I still don't. It's just not for me, and that's okay. So, oh yeah. Second skein of yarn is the one that was totally unexpected for me to finish because it's a Spindle spun skein of yarn, and I spun all the singles on the spindles. I spun 3 turtles on a Turkish spindle, and I spun on 2 normal drop spindles, and I plied everything together, and I had barely anything left. I have no idea how I managed to ply 5 different pieces into one skein without any leftovers, but it worked out. So here it is. This was spun from fondant fiber Rolex that I've had forever. I started this at least 3 years ago. Will you focus, please? It's all about the yarn. Focus. Do it. It looks quite worsted spun to me, and it's very floofy and poofy. As you can see, it's a quite big skein of yarn. I ended up with 321 meters. That's 351 yards and 102 grams. So this is a very nice sport weight, but it's so floofy, I think it's gonna knit up as a DK at least. But yeah, it's really nice. It made me fall in love again with my spindles a little bit. There we go. I have no idea what the fiber content is. I feel like there's everything in here. It's quite rough. I mean, it's not like coarse, but it's not soft. Not really. And I do not know where the label is, so I have no idea what it is. I know it was from fondant fiber, but that's all I know, basically. So finished skein of yarn that was not expected, but I'm really happy that it's done because, like I said, I started this at least 3 years ago, and I think it turned out great. So that's the second skein of yarn. The third one is another traditional 3-ply. It looks like this. This was spun from Sheepish Creations fibers. This is her card. It's a panda blend. Means it's a superwash merino, bamboo, and nylon, which makes it perfect for socks. And I did a traditional 3-ply, and it is quite fine. So this is my 3-ply. It took forever. Not my favorite thing to do. And I'm actually not sure if it's enough for socks because I only ended up with 261 meters. It's 285 yards. And this skein weighs 102 grams. So I'm not sure if I want to attempt knitting a pair of sneaker socks, you know, just shorties. Because it's a bit thicker than normal sock yarn, I could probably get away with casting on like 58 stitches on 3mm needles. I'm gonna try. So yeah, I really like how this one turned out. The fiber had a lot of white. It was basically white with splotches of burgundy, pink, and purple. And it spun up into this, and I love it. I think it's beautiful. I really, really enjoy it when there's a lot of white or natural color in this in the fiber, because it gives such a nice finished yarn, I think. But as you can see, this is very dense. I spun this on the Ashford Joy. I plied everything on the mini spinner, but I spun this on a Joy. So yeah, and this was, I think, my oldest languishing started thing on my spinning wheels. 5 years, 6, no idea, forever ago. But I'm really happy with this one. So this is definitely going to stay with me. Then the big one. My fourth skein of yarn was also spun on the Ashford Joy. And it looks like this. This is a not really combo spin. There's fluff on it. It's not really a combo spin because I had 2 exact same braids. They were from Widdershin Woolworks. They are out of business, unfortunately. And it is a BFL silk. And I'm going to show you the label. It looks like this. Widdershin Woolworks. BFL silk. That's her beautiful label. I love that label. And, you know, I have to, so I can show you the whole thing. And yeah, this is the one skein I was thinking about sending to a friend because it kind of reminds me of her, and she has never had a skein of hand spun in her hands. So I'm thinking about it. I'm not sure if she would like it, you know. Because yeah, I like it. I think it would make a very nice shawl because it's 408 meters. That's 446 yards, 224 grams. So it's a really nice worsted weight yarn. But you know, with 200 grams and 400 meters, or nearly 450 yards, you can knit a very nice and big, very comfy, cozy shawl. And it's BFL silk, so it's very nice and soft. I like it. I'm gonna have to think about it because when I started spinning this in March, I decided I'm gonna put it in the shop, and then, you know, I got to know this friend, and then after that, when I went back to spinning this, I just always thought that it would be perfect for her. So yeah, I might just pop it in the mail and hope for the best. Now, I'm sorry, I normally don't drink on the podcast because I slurp all the time. But yeah, I just needed a sip. Next up, another sock yarn. This is Superwash BFL from Into the World. There it is. Here's the back with the label. It was from their classic club that I was in. I'm not sure if it will focus on this clear plastic bag thing because this label is like sticky. I can't take it off. Oh, here we go. It's called Sentinel. It's a superwash BFL. I love BFL. It's my absolute favorite fiber to spin. And this is beautiful sock yarn. I spun the singles on the Louette S45. I ended up with 384 meters. That's 420 yards, so it's perfect for socks. And 114 grams. And this will make a pair of socks for me, for sure. I'm going to keep it. It did floof up a bit after washing, so it's more a heavy fingering weight, maybe light sport weight. But I don't care. I'm going to knit a pair of socks for me with this. Because hand-spun socks are just the bomb. I love them. Only problem is I hate spinning sock yarn. So I don't have a whole lot of hand-spun socks in my life, or in my sock drawer, I should say. I'm really happy with it. I know I could have plied it a bit tighter, but who cares? It's yarn. It's perfect. It's gonna be a pair of socks. For sure. And you know, superwash BFL, perfect for socks, because BFL is a longer staple with p. It's a longer stable fiber, so it makes it a bit hard wearinger. It wears harder. I don't know how to say it. It's good for socks. Okay, let's keep it at that. Now, the last skein of yarn that I spun on, no, it's not the last. It's the second to last skein of yarn. But this one took forever. And yeah, if you follow me on Instagram, you heard me whine about how long this took every other day, because I was spinning on this, I think, the same amount of time that I spun everything else in, which is kind of stupid because it's only 50 meters more than the one I just showed. I don't know why, but it took forever. This is another braid, or was another braid, of Sheepish Creations. I have lost the tag. No idea where it is. I started this years ago. Years ago. 4, 5, I don't know. But it's a merino silk blend. I ended up with 438 meters. That's 479 yards. And 106 grams. And I would say this is a true fingering weight. But as it's not a super wash, it will not be socks. I plied it super loose, as you can see. But I liked it for this because I think this will be a shawl. And I want it light and floofy poofy for a shawl. The colors did muddy down like crazy. This braid was so vibrant and just great. And the skein of yarn is like not so vibrant anymore. But I'm okay with it. I think it turned out really nice. It's quite thin. Yeah, I love the finished yarn. I did not like spinning it because it really just took forever. And yeah, it's not my thing. Spinning below DK weight is just not my happy place. Which might also be because I have so much fingering weight yarn in my stash. Yeah. And it takes forever. It really does. But it makes pretty yarn. I'm really happy with it. So that's the second to last. And I actually thought that would be my last. But then on the last day, no, on Saturday, the day before it ended, I found 2 more started spindle projects. I knew about the one that I finished. I'd forgotten about the other one. And I took this out. So the last skein of yarn. It's this one here. It's a half skein. It's only 50 grams. This was a bat. And I started it spinning ply on the fly. So if you're a spinner, you know what I'm talking about. If not, ply on the fly means you use a spindle, you spin the yarn, and then you chain ply it in one workflow thing. So you end up with a completely finished yarn in the end. And I spun up about half of it. I should have known better. I started a ply on the fly project years ago, and I had to finish that one on the wheel because it drove me crazy. I gave it another shot, still don't like it. So this is my finished skein of yarn. I spun the pink. The pink and purple was spun and plied on the spindle, and the blue and orange was spun and plied on the Woolmaker's Bliss spinning wheel. Did I say the fine stuff was spun on the Sidekick? This was the Woolmaker's Bliss. So the only wheel I absolutely didn't use during Tour de Fleece was my Michi von Schwarzenstein, because I did spin on my Rose a little bit, but it's not finished. So, okay, back to this. So this skein of yarn is a chain plied skein. I ended up with 106 meters. It's 115 yards for 54 grams. It was one bat that I just spun up. And what I did is like I said, had done the purple and pink on the spindle, and then I spun the blue and orange on my Woolmaker's Bliss. It did turn out quite nice, I think. Let's just pop up 2 of these to show. This is a chain ply from the Woolmaker's Bliss. And so I spun the remaining singles, I plied them, and then I ended up in the transitioning color between the blue and the purple. And what I did then, I just kind of knotted them together, but in a way they cannot come apart. The piece from the wheel and the piece from the spindle, and I just let the piece from the spindle go into the wheel as well while I was plying. Or after I had finished plying, you know, I just put it on the wheel as well to give it a little bit more twist. And I think that really worked great. I have 1 skein of yarn. There's no knot in there. I kind of managed to get it in so it just feels like another loop from the chain ply. The only problem I have with this skein of yarn, it's not soft at all. My husband just joked around and said you could knit a pair of socks for Tim because, you know, it's 100 meters. That should be totally enough for his giganto baby feet, I have to say. But this is not soft. I mean, I could knit a pair of socks for my kid, sure, but he would never be able to wear them on his feet, only over other socks. So I'm not sure what to do with this. I have no idea. I think it turned out really nice, but I just have no clue what to do with it. Maybe it would make a nice toy, but you know, I wouldn't want to cuddle with it. But yeah, so that's the last one. I have no idea where the bat came from. I want to say it's from Lana Passion. She's a German indie, but I am not sure. So no idea. I'm gonna show all of them now together. I'm gonna try. Gonna have to grab them out of the basket that I put them in. I'm quite happy with it. You know, all of these were started before, and I have to say it does feel good to have them done. Now, how am I going to do this? Here we go. This is my final product thing for Tour de Fleece 2017. It's not as much as I could have done, you know. I've done Tour de Fleece for 8 years, I think. I started spinning in November 2007. So 10 years ago, almost 10 years ago, I got my first spinning wheel, and I'm not sure if I did Tour de Fleece the first time after I got my first wheel or the year after that. So it's at least my 8th Tour de Fleece. It was a good one. I had some years where I just finished 1 or 2 skeins, and the year before I had Tim was my best year. I think I ended up with 14 finished skeins of yarn, but yeah, I'm happy. I finished 7 skeins of yarn. I have a total of 2,047 meters. That's 2,237 yards and 797 grams. So almost 800 grams over 2,000 yards. I'm really happy. And I'm also just so happy to have these off my wheels. You know, all the wheels are free from single skeins of yarn except the rose. I do have a intended to be chain ply sock yarn on the rows. And I have 3 started sweater quantities, but no single skeins left, which is very exciting because that means I get to start new single skeins now, and I will. I think I might do that after I finish this video. So yeah, here we go. One last shot of all of them. I'm really happy. If you have any ideas what I could do with this one here, except for nearly dropping it into my coffee. I mean, that was really close. Let me show you. Let me show you. See? That could have been a disaster. So I'm gonna just let them stay on the table now. Yeah, I enjoyed Tour de Fleece a lot. I'm so happy to be back into a spinning mood. I hope I will continue to spin because, you know, it's the PassioKnit Spinner Podcast and it's crazy. It's been the one thing I haven't done forever. So yeah, I'm getting back into it now and I'm really excited. So yeah, I'm gonna stop before I start being weird again, like in the last podcast episode. I hope you all have a wonderful week. Enjoy everything you do. Bye.